Hey everybody, this is Noah back for episode 32 of my Thought Bubble series. Sorry for missing earlier this week. I might cut down to one a week, but you'll probably see it on a community post sometime. I think like a lot of work and life and stuff is kind of like happening right now and it's getting kind of busy. So I'm not sure like how much time I'm gonna have, like especially like during the week to post or like film these and upload them. So, you know, that's kind of what happened. Like on Monday was like a lot of life stuff happened. So, I was just really busy at work, and that was basically it. So we might cut down to one a week, but we'll see. I don't know. Like I basically don't know. So you'll hear it whenever I figure it out. Or like I think like the biggest thing too for me is like I want this to still be kind of like a journal of sorts. And like if I have nothing that I want to say, that I'm not gonna post anything. Although it's kind of like, it'll be more inconsistent, but I feel like for my sake it'll be better. Anyway, the thing I wanted to talk about today is like sports, because it's like one of my big interests. I talk about bowling all the time. I talk about like basketball a lot. I coached basketball growing up, like for almost 10 years, I want to say. It was a really long time. Anyway, like I feel like sports now has like blended so much with like politics, if that makes sense. Like when I'm like watching, like I think the biggest example right now I think is like the WNBA, right? Because like there's the whole thing going on with Dijonay, and like the whole foul and whatever, and it like turned into like this big political thing. And it's like I know like everyone likes to dog on the league, right? Because it's like loses money, whatever. But like basketball is basketball, and like I don't really care who it is that's playing it. Like there's always something you can learn from watching, and like I've been to like a couple games and they're super super cool, right? There's a lot of like good players in the league, like despite the fact that I think like the bottom four rosters should blow it up. There's a lot of talent like at the top of the league, right? And like I feel like so much of it, and like so much of like the players and stuff like that, it like just gets kind of like drowned out in a sense. Like all of the focus, like whenever something happens, is on politics, right? Like it's like, oh, like this player is like of this race, this player is this, like this player's sexuality, whatever, the league is against them, the officiating is against them. And it's like, bro, it like the conversation, I feel like, for the sport like doesn't even become like the actual game. It's not like who's the best player. Like every time I turn on like a sports network or ESPN, it's like, oh, like this person talked about this privilege, and I'm like, bro, there's like so many other good games and like players you could highlight that are playing well. And it's like this happens in like a lot of leagues, I feel like, but it's mainly this one because it feels like the most like it's just like every week there's something new, and it's like so frustrating to see because it's like I feel like sports should be fun and like entertaining. You know what I mean? Like, and that's kind of how it is at the end of the day. And like all of this stuff like just takes so much away from it that it's just like, I feel like one, it's not fair to like the players, because I think like there's a lot of like people who are putting people's names in, like throwing their names in to like start narratives or whatever it might be. And also it's like not fair to them in the sense of like people are not watching them to like watch the sport. You know what I mean? We're not watching for basketball. We're watching because like, we like want to hate watch this player because they like said something we don't like, and it's like so politicized now that it's like the conversation around the league is like not even about basketball. It's about like this like bigger issue of like, oh, the officiating is racist. And I'm like we could have just like said it was like a tough call, a tough foul and a bad call, or whatever you want to call it, and then just move on, but now it's like this big political thing. And like I feel like it's not even at just like the top level of sports, because that's like the main one. I feel like most of the other leagues are like pretty okay about it. But like I think the big one too that I'm seeing is like in youth sports. I feel like has become like not like in terms of like global like politics, like race politics and stuff like that, right? But like I feel like um kids sports has become like way too much like business driven, if that makes sense. Like it's more politics in the sense of like for college, right? In high school, like you have like parents acting, or like of course you want to support your kid, right? But like there's a lot of parents who will ask for like millions of dollars in NIL money. There's like all of this stuff like that's happened in like the past few years with like NIL, name it, image, likeness, for those of you who don't know. And it's like, you know, of course you want to support like your kid and whatever, but it's like, what happened to playing the sport for fun? You know, like I get it. There's like some level of competition that just naturally happens, right? Because like it's a competitive sport. And I think like naturally, if you are someone who is really good, you will just naturally kind of like climb to the top, right, over time. And like that'll just happen. But like, I feel like it's gotten to the point where like there's no more youth leagues anymore. Like that's something I noticed like super big, especially in like where I am in Hawaii. I mean, like bowling is one thing, right? Because like it's not a super popular sport. It's not like one of the big four, right? Usually it's like baseball. I think baseball, football are pretty big, right? And those two, but it's like there's no more like a lot of the leagues that I played in growing up that were like rec leagues, whether it was like in the Manoa League or in like Hawaii Kai. For those of you who know about Hawaii, like all of those leagues are just gone. Like they're just gone. Like there's no more playing for fun anymore. Like the way that everybody like youth sports work is like you get your kid into like some sort of camp or travel team, and then you play like tournaments in like the mainland US, or you travel or do whatever, right? And that's like how it is now. And it's just like that's kind of sad that like that's the case, cuz it's like it's almost like a what happened to just having fun type of thing, you know? Like sport, like kids sports has become so like business or like I don't know what I want to say, like politically driven, that it's like there's no more like rec leagues or having fun anymore, right? Especially as like a kid. Like if you're just like a random kid and like you wanted to go and play baseball at your local rec league in Hawaii, like those don't exist anymore. And like you have to either like know somebody who will like add you on to like their travel team. And even so, right, like it's not even like, oh, like we're gonna play everyone because we want people to have fun. It's like, oh, I'm gonna put together the best roster. We're gonna try and like win some like mainland tournament, you know, like stuff like that. Like there's no more like, oh, like everyone's gonna get playing and like have fun. Because like to be honest, like that's why I feel like a lot of like, especially the people who aren't as good or just want to play for fun, like why a lot of them will just burn out naturally over time, right? It's like the coaches either won't play them because like, you know, you want to field this roster and win this tournament or whatever it is, right? Like it's not a for fun roster. It's like a legit business, like money roster, you know? So either people just burn out because like the coaches are like mean, which is a whole nother topic, right? Like I think coaching could be a lot better, especially in terms of like burnout in young athletes. But also I think it's like they just don't give them the chance, you know? Like there's no chance to just like go in a rec league and have fun. Like especially for me growing up, like there was no issue of like trying to find like a rec league, you know? When I wanted to play basketball, I just like signed up for one at the local park and we go, you know, like we would just go play. And it would be like with a bunch of random people, and even though we would lose like every game because we were like the youngest in the age bracket, like it was still fun, you know? It was still fun to play and like go hang out with friends every week and do whatever, right? That was all like fun. But like now it's like you can't do that. There's no like rec league team. What you got to do is like I said, like you got to know somebody and get your kid onto the team. And if so, if they just want to go out and have fun and are not as serious, then they're gonna burn out and like hate the experience. Or you pay for it, like it's almost like mandatory that like, oh, you got to send your kid to like this like camp or this club or whatever. It like it's so bad, bro. Like I get it. Like I don't fault people for like holding sports camps, because like I think those are super super fun. At least like the couple that I've went to, and I feel like I've learned a lot. But it's like now it becomes like mandatory. You know, it's like there's no more sports for fun, and like all of the focus now is on like the business side of like, how can I help my kid go pro? How can like this team make money? How can like, you know, like this person make money after it? Because there is a lot of money in it. That much is true. Like I think especially if you're like a collegiate athlete, like it's not even just like getting a full ride scholarship anymore. Part of it is like, you know, the package that you get or whatever. That's like thousands of dollars. But I feel like you see all of these numbers, and I think a lot of, especially like parents, have like a conflated sense of like how much money they're gonna get or like what they're expecting because like a lot I remember like hearing about a story, I forget where it came from, where like someone called or like got their kid to get onto like sign to like a collegiate team, and where they were asking for like 2 mil, and they're like a mid-level, like they're kind of like average in terms of like players. And it's like when you hear that number and you're a parent, like I feel like it's almost like personal greed that like you're basically investing all of this money in your kid, not because like they want to do something to have fun, but because you want to get like this big payday at the end of the day, you know, like, or something like that. I don't know, but like I don't know if there's like a solution. I think in terms of like global policy, it's hard to say because like I think there's like one end of the spectrum, which is like the shut up and dribble crowd, which is like keep all of this stuff, politics, money out of sports. And I think like we're at a point now where that's just like not really possible. I feel like we're so far into like the transfer portal and NIL and camps and whatever that like it's it's going to be impossible, I think, to like uproot the system that's there right now. You know, like you can't just like go back to the way it was, where it's like, oh, like we have fun, and then like by having fun, then like like naturally there will be people who are better, and then you like add them to your travel teams or whatever it might be, right? You play in tournaments and like have fun, but like now it's like a business. It's a legitimate business, and like I think the biggest thing is like one. I just wish that like if you had like rec leagues could come back, you know, like not just for like adults, but like for just like kids, you know, if like they just want to like go out and play baseball or like try a sport, you know, and like maybe they are good at it, maybe they're not, but like it should never come down to like, oh, are you good? And if the answer is yes, then you're on the team, and if it's no, you're not, and like you only play in like tournaments for money and stuff like that, right? Like it should never be the case that it's like all of this like politics and stuff like that. Like the focus, like the name of it is a game. You know, basketball's a game, baseball's a game, bowling's a game. You know, all of these things are games. And like when you think about games, automatically you should be like, yeah, these are all for fun, you know, like at the end of the day. And like I don't know about like general athlete wellness or happiness because I never like competed collegiately, but it's like especially for youth athletics, like taking away that like option to have fun or just like go out and play in a rec league or do all this stuff, you know, like one, I think it leads to like less social skill or growth. I feel like it's so like, especially for guys who are, or at least a lot of my guy friends, I don't know if this is a thing for like a gender thing, but like I feel like participating in team sports is like one of the best ways to like grow social skills or like team working skills, right? Like you learn what it means to be on a team, and like to not have avenues to have like kids learn that or like teenagers learn that or whatever it might be, right? Like not having that avenue to learn that, I feel like you miss out on so much like life skill. So I think like it's impossible to change or go back to the way things were, but I feel like investing in recreational leagues, especially for like youth athletes, you know, like if you're just growing up and you want to pick a sport, you should be able to like play baseball for fun, play basketball for fun, you know, like it shouldn't all just be now like I have my AAU team and we play like in Vegas every year or whatever. You know, like there should be like avenues to like have fun and relax and play like sports at a leisurely level. Cause I feel like one, by not doing that, a lot of people miss out on like that experience of like being competitive in a non-competitive environment, you know, which is like part of the fun, and just like having fun in general, you know, like you're not like playing for money, you're not playing for trophies, you're just playing for like just for kicks, you know. And then also like all of like the skills I think that you learn as like an athlete or like a member on a team, and all those team working skills are super super important that I feel like you just miss out on. But yeah, hopefully like more of the focus becomes like less I think generally my like position is like I just hope like the focus on sports goes back to the game of like the fact that it is a game. It's meant to be played for fun, and that people should have fun playing it and like hang out with their friends, and that we can't really like go back to the way things were before, but like we can do better for the future. I think is kind of like my point, that like at the end of the day everybody should have fun, and it is a game. So maybe take it a little less serious. But that's pretty much it for today. Once again, sorry for not uploading on Monday. I like it was just going crazy. But we'll see about next week. I think there's a good chance that it might be a one upload week, but well, I'll let you know. You'll see a compost. But if you would like to watch something else in the meantime, up here is a playlist of all my videos, and down here is a little sub button. So if you did like, please like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.